Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got an intriguing report that I just kind of want to throw out there to you guys, and this one's directly involved with prophecy. Now, earlier this year, a pastor by the name of Pastor Dana Coverstone came out and said that he had a vision about the United States of America, and everything that vision entails is exactly what has been happening in the United States of America. But here's the interesting part. Not only that, but he has further predictions for this coming year, and specifically November. So I kind of just want to show you the information and let you decide for yourself. Now, before I get into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. The good news is, they're giving away this free coin. This is America the Beautiful coin here, and you can see that it's $150 value, and they are giving it away with any qualified IRA. So give them a call or check them out at noblegoldinvestments.com. All right, so let's dive right into this prophecy so you guys really know what happened. And here we are on the endoftheamericandream.com. This is published by Michael Schneider, and it's titled, "A Man That Saw the Catastrophic Events of 2020 in Advance is Now Warning about what will happen in November." Now, the article goes on to talk about his video that he published. And here's the video. I'm going to leave it in the link below and you guys could watch it. It's a 15-minute video. And notice he published it June 25th. Now, the reason I'm bringing this to you is because he has multiple friends that have verified that he did indeed have this dream prior to the publishing of that video. So just something to think about. And again, I'll leave it out there for you to decide, because there's a lot of people who have given false visions that have not come true. And then there are ones that have given visions that have come true. So again, I find it interesting, but either way, it really dovetails into everything that's happening. So his first dream, and I'm just going to summarize this, but here's what he basically says. You guys can get this from the video, but he had it back in December. And he saw January 2020 coming up on the calendar. And then in the month of March, he saw 3 taps on the month of March. Well, I believe that obviously represents when we went into lockdown here in the United States of America up in March. And then it moved on to April, May, and June. And when June hit, we were tapped again 3 times. And again, here we are in certain states are going back into lockdown, and we see an uptick in cases. It also talks about him seeing people marching around, protesting, and wearing masks, lines into hospital, which we know is the mainstream media. They actually place people in line and then they leave the line. I'm not even joking, but moving on. We have doctors that he showed with needles and syringes, and then obviously people on ventilators, which is absolutely happening, and people getting sick. Then he goes on to talk about how he saw buildings being burned and even the protesters wearing masks. So that was his first dream in a nutshell, right? So my summarization of it. But basically he saw the protests, the burning of our cities, the mask, the pandemic, and all of it, even to the month of when the United States started doing lockdowns again and having those upticks. Well, recently he had another dream, and here's his second dream, Monday, which he had Monday, July 29th. But here's what he saw, and I'm going to again summarize this, but he saw the calendar and he saw something representing a white figure that appeared to him, and he took that as the Holy Spirit, and it said part 2. Basically, here's the second half to what you saw. So he saw June, July, and August all pass, but then when September came, again, he saw that triple tap on September, which, pause right there. I have been saying from the get-go that come September, it's likely we could see some kind of lockdown again, because we're starting to hit the cold season. We're starting to hit, our winter, our fall. And this is when we have flu cases. So obviously that's possible. Then he saw October basically come and pass, but then November is when the dream got real to him, and it really intensified his heart rate. So what was it that he saw? He said he woke up not feeling well. But anyway, the minute the finger underlined November 3 times, instead of tapping it like we had seen in the past, he saw a fist ball up and hit the calendar. And literally the calendar exploded into the wall, and the numbers seemed that they were third and they were falling everywhere. So numbers falling everywhere. There was a cloud of chaos that started in there. The next thing I saw was armed protesters. I saw fighting in the streets. I saw people plummeting one over the other, and I saw businesses shuttered and shut up. He also saw schools, rooms hanging with cobwebs, and basically posters falling from the wall. He also saw bank buildings with the roofs being taken off, which I found interesting, and almost like an alien abduction had happened. Obviously, that's not what he's saying, but he's saying money was flying off the roof and out of the room. And then he saw politicians in back rooms making deals with people, patting them on the back and laughing and smirking and smiling. And I can't second at least that last part, because they're already smiling, smirking, and laughing. But this is why I wanted to share this, because we all know what happens this election year. We have the election, President Trump, we've got Joe Biden, we've got dementia Joe Biden on the list, and we have President Trump. So this could be a couple different things. I think either President Trump wins and all hell breaks out, and we've got more rioting and looting and the fake claims that the president is a racist, and an emboldening of racial inequality claims by the mainstream media. They're feeding this freaking frenzy, and it's pissing me off, and they're really making the country worse. So I see that as a possibility. The other thing that is a possibility is maybe they got Joe Biden in there, and the numbers that are all over the place could be election fraud that they were allowed to do. Why? Through mail-in ballots. The Democratic Party has been doing everything in their power to push the mail-in ballots, and they're accomplishing that. So this can equate to massive voter fraud. Massive voter fraud. So maybe all those numbers you see could be that fraud that eventually gets Joe Biden elected, and maybe there's riots or protests from the other side. So there's two ways that this could actually go. But either way, at the center of it all, we all have to realize that we are being played by many of our globalists, our leaders, and maybe many even in both the Republican and Democratic Party. Now, I heard a powerful point that I want to mention to you guys, and that is this. Look, the reason that right now we're having the Republicans basically sit back and do nothing. I want to call them do nothing Republicans. They ain't doing crap. They're not saving our country. They're not stopping this emboldened race junk that's being pushed in everybody's face. For simply, if you're a Trump supporter, you're now officially a racist. I mean, this is not a reason to be called a racist, right? And this is above and beyond where it needs to be. But our Republicans are literally sitting back doing jack. They're doing jack. Maybe one or two are out there doing something, but that's about it. Why? Well, let me answer that. Because the Democratic Party, right? Do we have any actual Republicans on the Democratic ticket? Are there any, quote, say, Republicans in the Democratic Party that have infiltrated the Democratic Party? The answer is no. No Republicans are on the Democratic side. Are there now Democrats that have infiltrated the Republican Party? They're called rhinos, and we've got a lot of them. So in other words, Democrats are on both the right and the left, and so we ain't doing jack crap. That's the problem. They've infiltrated our side, and our side is doing nothing. Why did we allow something like this to happen? That lands on us. You know, for us voting, but obviously there's a lot of voter fraud, which plays a lot into that. And we have to start getting the right people elected, right? Kelly Townsend here in Arizona, Daniel McCarthy are really good candidates. Guy Phillips, really good candidate. And those are just in Arizona, right? But the thing is, chaos isn't being stopped by a lot of our leaders. A lot of them are just feeding into this frenzy. Same with the mainstream media. They're feeding into the frenzy of what's going on with the COVID-19 pandemic, because the more that they can keep you afraid, this isn't Ebola here, right? But the more that they can keep you afraid, the more control that they have over your life. That's the bottom line. Look, if our founders were alive today, any one of them, right? They would be labeled a terrorist. they would be dragged to prison, and they would be called Nazis and white supremacists. That would be what our founders would be labeled today, because they were very radical. But this is the very thing that our country was founded on, and we're losing it day by day. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Obviously, if we can change things, into something better this election year, then maybe we can make things happen, at least at the ballot box. Anyhow, I love all of you. And don't forget, get on over to Restricted Republic. There's only so much time you have to get over there. I'm just like, before the crap hits the fan, we don't know. I want to encourage you. Look, today is the day that you have to start signing up for these alternative platforms, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow holds. And that's just a fact. And the good news is on Restricted Republic, you've got both Justice and myself, right? So check it out. And right now we've got a 14-day free trial on no matter what you sign up for. And you can get that without a code. And so if you want to cancel prior to that, you can. Anyhow, I love every single one of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.